Hypnosis. How to use NLP and hypnotic techniques to get impressive results. Written by Norton Raven. Narrated by Stephen Lowe. Chapter 1. Before talking about hypnosis, what's NLP? NLP, or the Neuro-Linguistic Programming, is an education program that involves both the human senses and their communication methods. This can really help individuals with developing new behavior and better habits. This all comes down to the following: learning prejudiced experiences. It can also be important to finding out how individuals create their experiences in their mind and how they can try to develop skills that can make their lifestyles better and increase their happiness. That neuroprogramming is special when you compare it to various studies regarding behavior of human beings, since it is focused on duplicating and learning talents. What this means is that mastering the NLP program can aid individuals in developing themselves into more determined and responsible people. It can enhance their mental and physical talents with a mindset change. NLP includes crucial components in fabricating necessary human experiences regarding language and neurology. It also includes planned thoughts and a learning of the psychological cognitive practices behind the behavior. This way, you'll get better insights into the concepts of your own inner self. It also gives you the necessary skills and tools for the growth of conditions of excellence in people. Yet it likewise sets up a system of giving way to presumptions and thoughts about what people are and what communication truly is. NLP is about self-discovery, which allows you to further determine in which niche you will succeed. In everyone's life, it is relatively unavoidable to be doubtful which career you like, which profession you will learn, which job you will have, or what business you will start. In those examples, NLP can matter a lot for you. Since it can lead you to discover your actual goal or purpose in this world, some individuals usually stick to their profession or their careers, even when they are not all the way happy and satisfied with it. And of course, this is because they need, or they think they need, the job to survive in tough economic conditions. Through NLP, an individual can also realize that anyone can achieve whatever he or she wants as long as they are determined, skilled, and motivated enough. When they realize this, they can follow a step-by-step process and reverse engineer how they want to achieve what they want. Keep the word follow in mind. That's the road to success. Follow your dreams, your heart, and your passion. Now, this doesn't mean you should just do what you want. Sometimes a detour is needed. I hate it when people are all following their passion in their careers, when that's not what gets you to become successful. Let's say, for example, that you want to be a comic book artist, like I've dreamt a lot of times. Yes, you could start drawing comic books and hope it just takes off. But what if the market is too competitive, the demand is low, or there are other obstacles in the way? Then maybe it is better to do something else that makes you a lot of money, until you become so financially free that you can give it a try, or perhaps to do it in your free time after job hours. That's what I mean. Once you like what you're doing, then you will surely gain the success that you wanted to gain, some people say. But that's a lie. Just because you like something doesn't mean you can make money with it. It's not that simple. Generally, the main reason why most individuals stick to their job is the fact that there are people around them who are making them. And sometimes that's needed, but nowadays there are so many opportunities that aren't related to being an employee. Probably their families and their inspirations in life. But if a certain individual knows how to correctly communicate with everybody around them, then they shouldn't have to do what society dictates. Try to find ways to make it work. That's my best advice about that. NLP is a program that can help in career choice, as well as anything else people want in life. If you're stuck in your box, your virtual jail, then you won't feel fulfillment. This way, you can never explain your side, and you cannot even do the real things that you wanted to do. Instead, you will prefer things that are not exactly your choice, but the choice of other people for you. In this case, you are more likely living your life for other people, which is not fair at all. You can't just live your life for others, unless you're actively, selfishly serving them and finding fulfillment in that. Chapter 2. What is hypnosis? Hypnosis refers to the ability of changing thoughts and behavioral patterns with a trance state of mind. It involves the human subconscious mind. Hypnosis experts normally use hypnosis on a subconscious level to help people develop self-esteem, remove addictions, and grant them the power to do what they couldn't before. A classic example is the fear of flying, which can be overcome through the right kind of hypnosis. Another example could be that you developed an addiction to smoking and you think and believe that you cannot get over it. Then you might need hypnosis so that you can develop the other side of your thoughts and beliefs more positively. Actually, hypnosis has been a great help to individuals, especially to the ones who find it very hard to develop skills and characteristics by themselves. This can be a good way for them to prove that everything in the world could be possible if you want to make it happen. However, this is not to suggest that a person should always rely on hypnosis if they really want to develop better personal qualities. Hypnosis is an alternative, that's all. It does not mean that this is vital or always necessary in acquiring a certain attribute. There are several factors that you should know about hypnosis, and these are, among others, hypnosis should be done with the help of an expert or professional therapist. If you think that you need this to become better at something or quit doing something, then you have to solely give your trust to an expert. Never consider being hypnotized by a person who is not an expert at hypnotism. Always keep in mind that it involves both your intellect and your whole being. Therefore, you have to be careful enough when you consider hypnotism to solve your problems. They could be solved without it. There are various theories that make attempts to classify hypnosis. Some look at its intrinsic workings, and others try to look for other classifications so as to dismiss its existence. The most widely accepted explanation of hypnosis is that it is focused on a particular word or person and has a powerful effect on the intellect that leads to individual surrender. This way, people's intellect can be greatly focused on accomplishing what they want to achieve despite the pitfalls and challenges that are in their way. Hypnosis is broadly used in today's modern times in treating certain problems. Addiction is just one example. It is quite hard for almost everyone to break through an addiction, unless, of course, they go to rehab centers or take some other steps to fix the problem. This can also be used in developing self-esteem and can greatly help you show your true inner self. There are people who do not have the courage to show or share their problems or weaknesses because of various reasons. They could find it hard to connect with others, or they have limiting beliefs which keep them from showing others their true colors. This means they do not have the guts to show their talents, skills, and even to share their knowledge because they limit themselves to the person who they aren't. It's deception towards others that could lead to deceiving themselves. Some people are afraid to share what they could do with the whole world. Hypnosis can help with that. A little side note, hypnosis experts need to be licensed to practice hypnotism. In these cases, you have to be extra cautious since this is a serious medical process. I recommend doing a thorough research first about the person and the practice before you consider having hypnotism as your way to change your life in a positive way. Hypnotism is your own choice. In fact, you can never be hypnotized by anyone, no matter how experienced a hypnotist is. Sometimes cartoons make fun of hypnotism and give people the impression that others can control you, but hypnotism involves the mind or the intellect. Therefore, if you believe and your intellect is programmed to not be hypnotized, then you won't be. It's that simple. Hypnotism is powerful, but a person's intellect and will is more powerful. It always will be. Just imagine a sick person who gets well because he or she believes that he or she will. Wouldn't that be nice? You could be hypnotized if your mind is not ready for the process. But if you are not ready for it, then the mind cannot be controlled. This process can also be a great way to fool people who are innocent about it. Therefore, if you don't know anything about it, you have to learn essential facts about it now. Never let yourself be fooled by the people who use their hypnotism skills and knowledge to fool individuals. Because there are cons out there who want you to believe they have hypnotic skills when they don't. They find some actors who play along and they fool a crowd for the purpose of making money for a show. Chapter 3. Why NLP can work for self-help. The neuro-linguistic program can be a nice tool to help people get more self-confidence and to succeed in every venture. It is great training and it involves communication. Every person is different when it comes to attitude, limitations, and even skills and knowledge. Thus, there are those individuals who seldom show their own selves in public, and just prefer to limit themselves to very simple and boring lifestyles. But if they choose to go through a specific NLP training, they may realize how important they are and how they can better be themselves. Every person should set a goal to have clear and sound communication with others, probably with their friends and family, so that they realize the things they need to work out and the things that they need to get rid of. However, there are instances when someone can't be good in formulating great, concise, and clear words for communication. That's why they cannot afford to voice it. And this exactly answers the question why NLP works and helps people develop self-confidence. It is because of the fact that NLP training involves both human intellect and skills so that they can communicate well. There are times when a person feels that he is very good in talking to others and confident that he can use communication to extensively explain for his own self. But when it comes to his turn to say something, all of the words that are on his intellect or the words that he formulated ahead of his speech are gone with the wind. In this case, a person should get some NLP training. There are various types of NLP trainings. Therefore, you need to determine first which one suits you best. You are the only one who can determine which type of training you should attend to, since you are the only one who knows your limitations and skills. The two things that you should develop are discipline and honesty. To successfully do NLP training, you need those two qualities. It is understandable when people are shy, but if people like that ignore ways to overcome this, then they are likely putting themselves into the jail of life boredom. In this case, that jail they put themselves into means they cannot afford to explore and know themselves better because they have limiting beliefs. Once you think that you are this kind of person, then you better change now and attend NLP training as much as possible. It can greatly help individuals to explore and discover new things in them day by day through having enough and clear communication to people around them. It is always nice talking to different people. Remember that talking or having conversations with different people can lead you to both knowing and sharing things, which can also lead you to learning or having an idea of who you really are. Most individuals often say that they completely know themselves, but the truth is that every individual should not stop discovering various things about them as much as they are discovering facts and things in reality. This thing is unstoppable or limitless. In having NLP training, you should use your 5 senses, since it is also needed in communication, which plays a vital role in helping yourself achieve your goals. These days, people have to be smart about everything, and they should improve their skills in communicating with others. If you think that you can't, then you can at least do that via chat, mails, or emails, in which you can begin writing your thoughts. After that, you could try to talk about it, perhaps with the people you are fond of first, so that you can get used to it. Later on, you will just realize that you are halfway to your goals and you are very good at communication. NLP is one of the keys to everyone's success. In the next chapter, we'll discuss how it can help you overcome barriers. Chapter 4. How to use NLP to overcome barriers. Not only is NLP good for learning communication skills and setting goals, but also plays a role in overcoming mental barriers. There are times when people forbid themselves to speak or explain for themselves and prefer to just let other people judge them and say something for them. That's not how it should be. Except maybe in some authority circles where respect needs to be shown to someone of higher status. I've talked to people who used NLP techniques to walk on hot coals or do crazy stuff like that. The power of the mind is astounding. Their feet don't get burned, and they were able to completely shut off their pain senses. The fear of rejection is strong in a lot of people, and I have to admit that I am no exception. NLP explains that it is a fact that a person will not always receive praises when he speaks, and that should be accepted. Not everyone will like you. Sometimes a person needs to receive rejections, so he can further analyze his weaknesses. Feedback, even criticism is needed. But all fear it in one way or another, and that's a problem. For some reason, we often let other people in and take things personal even when they know nothing about us. Many people are also afraid to fail. This fact is quite explainable, since there is no one who will want failure in life. But if you look on the positive side of life, you will probably realize that a normal individual greatly needs failure to gain courage and guts to face all the challenges along their way. Neuro-linguistic programming further explains to people how they will have a mental setup so they can get the things that they wanted. At the same time, they could perfectly figure out how they will face or take failures in a way that can be helpful to them. This way, they can further avoid mental barriers that involve their confidence and courage to venture in the world that they want to be in. NLP can help with overcoming the fear of public speaking. A lot of people have reported to having done NLP, and after that, being completely calm when speaking to a crowd, meaning they could face a crowd and further speak for themselves without any barriers, not even mentally nor emotionally. It is explainable why some people are having a hard time in speaking for themselves, since they may have had previous experience that make their hesitations grow. With NLP, they face their fears and it helps them overcome them. Once you believe that you are facing those drawbacks in yourself, you can consider having NLP training, or you can at least do a thorough search about what this training and program is all about. This way, you can apply some of its principles on you in any case you prefer. Somehow, learning all kinds of facts all by yourself can be fairly beneficial considering that trainings and program participation nowadays are pretty expensive. However, this is not to suggest that you don't have to spend something in learning from the teachings of the principles of NLP. Of course, there are instances that you should still have to. The bottom line is that you have to search for the ones that can help you save money in learning from it. As much as possible, you will need guts, skills, and knowledge once you prefer to learn things by yourself. Now, if you think that you have those, then by all means, you can achieve almost everything that you want to achieve in life anyway, right? So you won't need NLP, but still, it can be helpful for those who are interested in it. It is all what it takes. Therefore, you still need to assess yourself whether you need NLP training or you can have it by yourself. Always keep in mind that if you want accurate assessments, then you must do it for your own self, since no one can assess the things for you but you, yourself. Chapter 5. Hypnotism in History. Hypnosis has been known to us for thousands of years. Historically, the practice of altering man's consciousness has been carried out by shamans, Wiccans, spirit mediums, and spiritual doctors for various reasons. Ancient civilizations in Egypt and Greece recorded that the fastest way to get in touch with the spiritual realm is through rituals that are similar to what we now call hypnosis, meditation, visualization, and drugs. Some of these may be ethical, others not. Experiences common to deep sleep, anesthesia, and the strength of the subconscious mind have been noticed in different religious documents, such as in the Old Testament of Christianity and in the Talmud of Judaism. Some accounts even say that many women were accused of being witches, and therefore they were burned at the stake because of their practice of cutting up women's bellies during difficult labor, in order to help the child get out of the womb. People related that the mothers felt relatively no pain during the operation, and the babies were delivered successfully, with the midwives solely using herbs and oils while uttering some comforting, soothing chant. This practice, or so they assumed, is one of the earliest known practices of what is now called delivery through cesarean operation, with the aid of hypnosis. In the modern world, hypnosis' first brush with science was known in the late 1700s through Austrian physician Dr. Franz Anton Mesmer, and the phenomenon that was named animal magnetism. Mesmer was convinced that through a mystical force channeled through water tubs and magnetic wands flowing from him to his subject, he can make people and animals go into a trance. He claimed to receive his mystical powers from magnetic waves. He lulled his subjects into submission by getting them to focus on a certain item, and by monotonous repetition, he mumbled certain words. This is where the word mesmerize, which we still use today to pertain to the act of being in awe and dumbstruck to a specific figure, was invented. But later in the studies of hypnotism, the concept of animal magnetism was dismissed. Abi Faria was a scientist in the 19th century, declared that the hypnotism practiced by Mesmer was not because of animal magnetism, but through the power of suggestion. Even more studies and experiments in controlling other people's minds followed throughout the years, but it was research launched in 1842 that was thought to be the turning point in the study of Mesmer's ideas. Scottish surgeon James Braid was one of the initial scientists to attribute the process of going into a trance to a physiological process. He thought that the state of trance was not caused by the magnetic power of the hypnotist, but by hard, rapt attention on a striking, moving object over time. As in that iconic clock necklace, a pendulum. Protracted ocular fixation, Braid believed, will make the brain exhausted and will cause the subject to be under what he called nervous sleep. Thus, Braid coined the term hypnotism and hypnosis, based on the Greek word for sleep. Braid, with his contemporaries such as Ambroise Auguste Liébault, Hippolyte Burnham, and J.M. Charcot, later was drawn to the impact of psychological motivation in hypnosis rather than their early concept of fatigue and nervous sleep. They were also first ones to come across medical hypnosis, wherein they utilized hypnotism to treat different psychological and physical symptoms. Following the paths taken by Braid et al., more studies on the use of hypnosis in medicine followed, with better results this time, mirroring, through perhaps unconsciously, the practices of ancient doctors. New medicine began to carefully tread upon the use of hypnosis as anesthesia or painkillers. The world of medicine and physicians then had a strong distrust towards this method. This happened in 1842 when there was a report of a positive and painless amputation procedure with the help of hypnotism, but it was immediately dismissed. Nonetheless, pro-hypnotism medical professionals persisted in their studies. Dr. James Istali, a British doctor who practiced in India, performed nearly 400 pain-controlled operations with patients under hypnosis. Known as the father of hypnoanesthesia, Istali also integrated his Western education with the culture in India. Hand in hand with his medical practice, he also performed a drugless trance therapy traditionally from Bengal, India. Istali's cases listed eye, ear, and throat operations, amputations, and tumors and cancerous growth removals. Istali reported zero pain and/or death under his so-called mental anesthesia. What's more amazing is that after the surgeries, Istali further hypnotically suggested to his patients that their wounds would not result in any kind of infection or side effect. True enough, no one among his patients was reported to have caught any post-operation side effects. Many were of the opinion that the subconscious aspects of Istali's patients responded well to hypnotism. When Istali suggested that they would not be infected, their bodily functions acted accordingly and launched antibodies that would fight the infections. Soon, the death of Braid, Istali, and other kindred colleagues, plus the advancement of anesthetics through chemicals, waned the interest in hypnotism. Hypnotically hysterical. After hypnosis kept a comparatively low profile after Braid, hypnotism made a comeback in the 1880s, when new versions of his work were circulated. The revival also came with new experimentations, predominantly in the use of hypnosis in treating hysteria led by neurologist Jean-Martin Charcot. Charcot and his later pupil Pere Janet treated several cases of mental conditions, but especially hysteria, through what they called disassociation. This technique applied on a large number of patients, compartmentalizes some of the data stored in the mind so that aspects such as particular skill or a memory from the past can be hidden or retrieved. Considered landmark experiments at that time, these findings impressed and inspired later works of French psychologist Alfred Biot and the father of psychoanalysis, Sigmund Freud. In fact, Freud used the works of Charcot and another French doctor, Hippolyte Burnham, to strengthen the framework of his initial studies on the unconscious and hypnotism. Meanwhile, science has enriched layman's dictionary once again, since it was in this time that Ambroise Auguste Liébault coined the term rapport, meaning that critical and required consensus between the hypnotist and the subject for a successful hypnosis session. Today, we still use the word rapport to mean that pleasant communication connection between two parties, a certain similarity in wavelength. Hypnotism and war. A great weapon, a tactical device, an intelligence technique, and a medical tool. All these roles were said to have been taken by hypnosis during World War I and II. War trauma is common to soldiers who have faced the horrors of warfare. Hypnotism was used by doctors to help patients in letting go of their repressed memories and to eventually treat amnesia or other subsequent effects. This type of therapy also helps the patient alleviate emotional and mental pressures that came from the trauma. The powerful suggestion invoked by hypnosis was also used as a means to acquire military intelligence. For instance, classified information that has to be passed personally can be protected through the power of suggestion. In this case, the intelligence will be given to a soldier under hypnosis. After the information has been relayed successfully, the hypnotist suggests to the courier that he will not be able to remember a single detail about the message, which ensures that it remains a secret forever. Since hypnosis can be effective in altering the behavior of a person too, it was used as a strategy to infiltrate the enemy's ranks. G.H. Estabrook, a physician who has worked with United States authorities in World War II, divulges in a medical journal that the behavior modification properties of hypnosis were useful in sending a deep penetration agent inside a communist territory. He also relates, "I worked this technique with a vulnerable Marine lieutenant, I'll call Jones. Under the watchful eye of Marine intelligence, I split his personality into Jones A and Jones B. Jones A, once a normal working Marine, became entirely different. He talked communist doctrine and meant it. He was welcomed enthusiastically by the communist cells, was deliberately given a dishonorable discharge by the Corps, which was in on the plot, and became a card-carrying party member." Chapter 6. Can hypnosis bring back memories? Hypnosis won't make you any younger, but it can definitely make you feel and act younger. It may not take away pain, but it might fool around with your pain sensors, so that pain may virtually appear to be gone. For all the fallacies and myths surrounding hypnotism, there are still a number of things hypnosis can do that are good and have been scientifically proven to work. In general medicine, psychology, surgery, and dentistry, and even in the legal system, go figure, hypnosis has been known to help people gain a better understanding of their circumstances and themselves. Age regression. Wise men say, those who do not remember history are condemned to repeat it. Whatever you are now, the skills you possess, the ailments that bother you, may have something to do with your past. In regression, the person that initiates your hypnotism dips into a particular period in your life. For example, as you were still in kindergarten, this suggestion triggers you to seem to live out significant incidents in that period, because you are practically reliving the past. It will most likely happen that you think, talk, or act as if you were in kindergarten. Your therapist and you can then decide how a particular incident in that time period may have connection with a condition affecting you presently. Reliving a part of your past can help you recover some vital information, establish insights, or aid you to get to know yourself better and how to cope with the present circumstances. Tool for surgery. Painless surgery and dentistry have been tested and proven to be possible with just the help of hypnosis. Probably the most natural form of anesthesia. Mothers about to give birth, soldiers wounded in the midst of a battle, or children nervous of a tooth extraction have been helped by hypnosis as an anesthetic form of numbing them during procedures. During surgery, the hypnotized patient was reported to have remained calm and at ease. Post-surgery hypnosis is also known to aid in prevention of infection or to relieve discomfort or post-surgery pain. Increased recovery speed is also a known good side of hypnosis. In one case study, a research by psychologists, the said expert states the physicians had to graft skin onto a patient's badly damaged foot. First, skin from the person's abdomen was grafted into his arm. Then the graft was transferred to his foot. With hypnosis, the patient held his arm tightly in position over his abdomen for 3 weeks, then over his foot for 4 weeks. Even though these positions were unusual, the patient at no time felt uncomfortable. Behavior modification. Forcing someone to act like a chicken or bark like a dog is only the icing on hypnosis cake. There are other pleasant and useful cases wherein its ability to modify behavior is important. Mental patients who are troubled or anxious may be helped to be tranquil through hypnosis, rather than experiencing the side effects of sedatives or to be involuntarily coerced into submission through a straitjacket. On a long-term basis, hypnosis can be utilized as an essential part of treating psychological conditions like anxiety, depression, trauma, or phobias. Long-term therapy with the aid of hypnosis is also required in curbing problem habits such as smoking, taking drugs, eating disorders, sexual disorders, or dilemmas in socialization. Treating physical problems due to psychological factors. Many physical problems are linked to our psychological condition, given the direct connection of the brain and the nerve system to the separate process of the other parts and organs of the body. That's why some doctors believe that there is no other way to treat a physical condition more efficiently than to head directly to the brain, where all the activity is. Psychopsychology conditions are ailments of the body that can be rooted in complex psychological factors. Usually, a person who is vulnerable to a specific illness when faced with stress will most likely catch a psychosomatic illness. A medical definition often states that a psychosomatic illness equals a condition in which the state of the mind, psyche, either causes or mediates a condition of real, measurable injury in the body. Soma. Columbia Encyclopedia further comments that a psychosomatic disorder is an emotional disturbance that is manifested as a physical disorder. Like, for example, child asthma, ulcers, hypertension, endocrine disturbances, and maybe even heart disease. In most cases, the sickness happens only when both psychological predispositions and psychological stress are there. In this formula, predisposition pertains to your mental and medical history. Stress concerns with elements that make you feel worried or bothered, as well as an external stimuli such as domestic issues or problems in society, eventually trigger the onset of illness. These include death, conflicts, personal or social, emotional problems, and financial struggles. Other conditions that result from psychological stress are problems that affect vital organs like the heart, stomach, lungs, liver, and the nervous system, triggering the beginning of cancer, stroke, arthritis, multiple sclerosis, and pain. A typical script when using hypnosis as a form of aiding the treatment of psychosomatic illness is similar to other hypnosis techniques that are meant for altering or asserting a certain condition. At first, the hypnotist guides the subject into deep relaxation until that person's body and mind are completely calm. After that, the patient is admonished to imagine each part of his personality that is ill, physically and mentally. With the power of that imagination, there is hope. Using visual imagery that promotes well-being and lightness, the hypnotist says to the patient to ease away his pain, anxiety, and other thoughts that annoy him or her. The hypnotist can also identify every body part, noting especially the affected ones, and help the patient handle, overcome, or accept the pain in his or her own way. Legal aid. The mind's ability to store information is astounding and impressive. It can even act as a video camera that zooms in, pauses, fast forwards, or slow motions certain happenings from the past. The problem is that we tend to forget because however big its capacity, it is not limitless. It compartmentalizes and organizes our memory of things so it can accommodate more. This is where hypnotism comes in. Hypnosis helps a person store and retrieve applicable information that may have been rejected or neglected in standard everyday activities. Pinpointing critical data is most important in solving crime cases. Hypnosis has been used to help the witness and victims of crime figure out information from the crime scene. By intensively focusing through hypnosis on memories relating to the crime, a significant detail, a vital clue, or an element previously looked upon may aid in the investigation. Still, the police do not usually solely rely on hypnosis for solving their crimes, because even under hypnosis, the mind can be fragmented. The human brain is tricky, and people can be tricky as well. As we mentioned before, people under hypnosis can still decide for themselves. People under hypnosis may lie or prefer not to divulge a secret. Chapter 7. Shows. As with any other phenomenon in contemporary age, hypnotism has not escaped the glitter, glamour, and kitsch of commercialism. It's not really surprising that something as mysterious and interesting as hypnotism can turn into an entertainment show for money-making ventures. And of course, this is happening all over the globe. Still, this is not to say that stage hypnotists are not as honest as their counterparts in the clinical scenery. Professional stage hypnotists usually follow the same direction and techniques in hypnosis. They just tweak them to give their audience some entertainment value. The effect of their brand of hypnotism to their subjects isn't so much different either. People still act silly or ridiculous, because it's their will to go along with the show, So in a way, you could say that they want to be actors, and they do it for that reason. As one stage hypnotist puts it, according to their suggestion, the subjects act and behave the way they think hypnotized people must do. So do you want to be a Vegas show hypnotist? Perfect timing, right pacing, and action-packed sequence are some of the many required elements in a truly entertaining show. Here are some tips that we received professionals of the trade. Collect and select. Almost every stage hypnotist initiates a pre-selection process prior to the show. These are not planted talents. The hypnotist actually calls out for volunteers from the current audience. So it's not all staged, but there is something to it. After a series of hypnosis exercises, the hypnotist determines who among them is the most susceptible and suggestible to hypnotism. For each level, he or she, usually a he, selects the highly suggestible ones and eliminates those he deems not ready or not open to let go. Thank you very much, sir, ma'am. You may take your seat now. This ensures a faster pace of the show, a more successful hypnosis rate, therefore, a more entertaining show. The hypnotist performs hypnotism exercises at different levels. Still, there are a number of con men using rigged props or talents pretending as part of the audience. 12 minutes of fame. People are more or less attracted to the lure of the spotlight, if not confused by it. Getting people in the stage, in front of a big audience, increases the success rate of the hypnosis session. On stage, many people will find it difficult to resist to instructions compared to common situations. When on stage, people will feel obliged to behave like they are expected to. Therefore, they will think it is easy to follow and respond to the hypnotist's suggestion so as not to ruin the show. Once the atmosphere comes to this, the participants start to loosen up. The audience buys the act according to what is happening. This is enough for the hypnotist to take advantage of. All he has to do now is to direct the show. Cooperation is much easier if it is all part of a performance. Wash their hands clean. Going along with the idea that hypnotized people have absolutely no idea or control to what they are doing, subjects like it better to act out what is asked of them, no matter how weird or silly it might be. Once hypnotized, one may believe, or the hypnotist suggests one to believe, that he has no responsibility for the volunteer's actions. It's not really them who are acting like cats and meowing on the stage in front of dozens of people. Somebody is making them do what might have been embarrassing things. Be tricky. Bring out the fog machine. Turn on those bright lights. Let those glitters pour on. Don't shy away from sound effects either. Music for more ambience. Costumes and props for more atmosphere. It's a show, not just a spiritual thing. Once the show attains the aura of a cinema house, the audience, in automatic response of a moviegoer, will be readier to eliminate their disbelief. They will believe everything from the stage that is being shown to them. As in a fantastical and magical film, however irrational the story twist may be, the audience is ready and willing to negotiate within the story's universe and codes. Almost all stage hypnotists use stage tricks in order to achieve more jaw-dropping impact. The more complicated and dangerous the stage acrobats are, the better for them and their ticket sales. One common impressive stunt is suspending a person between two chairs and then letting somebody stand on that person's chest. The audience doesn't question the trick, but in reality, it's just an ingenious use of space, black cloth, mirrors, and yes, hypnosis. This has been Hypnosis. How to use NLP and hypnotic technique to get impressive results. Written by Norton Raven. Narrated by Stephen Lowe. Copyright 2018 by Norton Raven. Production copyright 2018 by Norton Raven.
Hypnotherapy. Reduce stress, lose weight, and improve your life faster with hypnosis. Written by Quinn Spencer. Narrated by Eric Boozer. A healthy stress management tool. Growing numbers of people are finding great relief from stress and anxiety through hypnotherapy. Stress is often referred to as the silent killer, and for good reason. Stress can wreak havoc on the immune system and is the number one cause of many ailments and diseases, such as depression, fatigue, headaches, backaches, high blood pressure, heart disease, obesity, and diabetes. Even though advances in technology help to automate many tasks in order to make things easier and thus creating more efficiency, this hasn't helped improve quality of life, since we are now expected to accomplish even more. Most people today face heavy pressure to accomplish a whole lot in a small amount of time, in the workplace and at home, which only adds to the pressures and stressors of life. But at what cost? Findings from a large population-based study that was published in the Journal of Epidemiology and Community Health suggest that even mild stress is linked to long-term disability. Stress affects not just the mind, but the body and the spirit. Those suffering from stress often turn to short-term solutions for relief, such as smoking, drinking, and energy drinks. But these things lead to even worse medical complications, further compounding the whole situation. Many people have decided to take action on their health and are receiving amazing results through hypnotherapy for stress management. A recent study has shown hypnotherapy may help prevent weakened immune system and improve health, as many clients of hypnotherapy for stress management can attest. How does hypnotherapy work to reduce stress? Most people are stressed due to their perceptions of the world and themselves. Oftentimes, these perceptions lead to unrealistic expectations. When those expectations aren't being met, it causes great anxiety. In order to eliminate the unnecessary stress, hypnotherapy helps to identify the perceptions that are leading to the stress and then replaces that perception with a new, more realistic one. Those who undergo hypnotherapy for stress step away with a fresh new perspective and outlook in life, which helps them to better able to succeed. When we are stressed, it's more difficult for us to think clearly, and our perception becomes more skewed. Regular hypnotherapy sessions help to combat these harmful perceptions and also result in better health. Therefore, hypnotherapy serves quite well as a preventative measure. It's far better to remain in good health than to have to fight to get good health back. Stress management hypnosis can take many forms, such as one-on-one hypnotherapy sessions, guided meditations, self-hypnosis, and customized hypnotherapy audio files. Professional hypnotherapists help develop personalized stress management plans for each individual for maximum effectiveness. Some of the benefits of stress management hypnotherapy include reduced stress and anxiety, feeling more relaxed and at peace, clarity of thought, improved sleep, increased energy, healthy appetite, improved focus and concentration, positive outlook on life, improved overall health. Those who have turned to hypnosis as a stress management tool have reported great improvements in their quality of life. Their thoughts are no longer centered on the negative, and the stress management hypnotherapy provides them invaluable resources to deal with daily stressors. Rather than turning to dangerous chemical cocktails of the pharmaceutical industry or other methods that merely mask the symptoms and have negative impact on health, clients who utilize hypnotherapy can get to the root cause of their issues, which leads to lasting solutions in a healthy and positive manner. Not just for stress management, hypnotherapy can help with a myriad of other issues, such as breaking bad habits, overcoming past traumas, letting go of unnecessary fears and phobias, weight management, smoking cessation, and more. Hypnotherapy for stress management and other issues is a healthy treatment modality that won't cause negative side effects. Because hypnotherapy works with the subconscious, it has a synergistic effect on other areas of life, making it more of a holistic approach. Assessing the power of the subconscious mind with hypnotherapy. The subconscious mind is a very important part of our makeup. Sometimes called the unconscious, it is the part of our mind that is not within our regular waking conscious awareness. This part of our mind is responsible for most of our life functions. All the things we do to stay alive are governed by this part of ourselves. We breathe and sweat and circulate blood and digest food and walk and grow hair and grow fingernails and numerous other tasks without having to think about them. All our glands and organs and every cell in our bodies are controlled by our subconscious mind. Another part of our subconscious minds includes our beliefs and morals and ethics, and feelings and dreams and automatic responses and memories. All of these also go into what makes us who we are. When we are children, we absorb most of what we see and hear, and we believe it. Our parents, teachers, siblings, peers, and the media all contribute to our beliefs about ourselves and the world around us. As we grow up and develop, we learn that not all of what we believe about ourselves and the world is correct, and we are able to change those beliefs to those that are more aptly serve us. But sometimes we are unaware of the cause of a problem in our lives, and we struggle through the obstacles along the way. We have strong negative reactions to things that most people can laugh off. We take up habits that interfere with our health and find it difficult to release them. We feel like we are at the mercy of our emotions. We feel victimized. All of these thoughts and feelings can manifest in many ways, including illness, pain, fears, addictions, weight gain or loss, or numerous other problems. Hypnotherapy has proved to be an effective tool to assist people dealing with these issues. A clinical hypnotherapist uses hypnosis and therapy to access the subconscious mind of the client who wishes to make changes in their life. The difference between hypnotherapy and other therapies is the ability of hypnotherapy to access the subconscious mind and make the changes at the source. Other therapies may take years to get to the root of the problem, whereas hypnotherapy can get to the root and deal with the problem in a few weeks or months. We have been hearing more and more about the mind and body connection. Nowhere is this more evident than in the field of hypnotherapy. Because the subconscious mind is responsible for the functions of the body, it can receive information to help the person in an emergency. A trained hypnotherapist can slow or even stop blood flow to an injured area and help the injured person reduce pain significantly. After surgery, a patient who uses hypnotherapy heals much faster, with less discomfort and shorter hospital stays. Suggestions to reduce or increase blood flow to a certain area or to reduce swelling of a body part or a suggestion to have a quick recovery are all possible while the person is in a hypnotic state. Pain management is also very effective with hypnosis. Pain is a signal from the body to the brain. The brain is the experiencer of the pain. The subconscious mind controls the signals that go from the body to the brain. It is possible, while in hypnosis, to teach the client how to control those signals from the body to the brain. There are cautions built into this therapy, of course, because pain does serve a purpose in our lives. But teaching people to control chronic pain using their subconscious mind has improved many people's quality of life. Hypnotherapy has been very successful in helping people with dental pain and anesthesia as well. The number of success stories of those who use hypnotherapy is countless. What about mental health? Is that connected to the subconscious mind? And how does hypnotherapy help with those issues? Hypnotherapy is an excellent tool for dealing with some emotional issues and some neurosis. Fears and phobias respond very well to hypnotherapy. Inner child work for healing a troubled past also responds very well to hypnotherapy. Probably the two most popular reasons someone seeks help from a hypnotherapist are smoking cessation and weight loss. Both of these issues respond very well to hypnotherapy. Most of these issues have an origin in the subconscious mind and can be dealt with by a professionally trained hypnotherapist. Medical issues, however, need to be diagnosed and treated by a medical professional. Even pain management must first be evaluated by a medical professional before being helped with hypnotherapy. Mental illness must also be treated by a medical professional before being helped with hypnotherapy. Although the hypnotherapist may be able to help with symptom relief, mental health issues must always be treated medically. A qualified hypnotherapist will work in conjunction with your medical professional as part of your health team, but does not diagnose illness or prescribe medications. The connection between the mind and body and our subconscious mind and the life we are living is inarguable. Finding an effective way to improve our lives seems to be a major topic for a lot of people today. As we discover more and more of what the subconscious mind can and does do, having access to that power within all of us gives us a feeling of control over our lives. We can release the past and the negative that brought us to a place of addiction, weight gain, depression, anxiety, and stress. We can create the world that fills us with joy and laughter and love. We can help our bodies heal from illness or injury with a feeling of control over our lives. Common conditions that can be treated with hypnotherapy. Keeping the body strong and healthy is essential in order to handle tasks and obligations at work and at home easily. However, there are cases when individuals experience different types of conditions that may affect their performance and appearance. Luckily, there are numerous ways to deal with these conditions, and one of the most popular choices is to opt for hypnotherapy treatments. To know more about hypnotherapy, below are some of the common conditions that can be treated. Irritable bowel syndrome. Irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, is a chronic gastrointestinal disorder, also called spastic colon, functional bowel disease, and mucus colitis. Health experts state that this condition is a result of a combination of abnormal gastrointestinal tract movements, increased awareness of body functions, and a disruption in the communication between the brain and the GI tract. This condition can also worsen during periods of stress. By opting for hypnotherapy, individuals can experience improvement in their symptoms. Skin conditions. Skin conditions like eczema and psoriasis can be treated by hypnotherapy. This treatment will often be focused on visualizations of the problem behind the problem. In addition, hypnotherapy can regulate blood flow and other autonomic functions not usually under conscious control. Weight management. Hypnotherapy can also help individuals with their weight management. Rather than reducing calories that a person is likely to put on again in the longer term, hypnosis gets that person in touch with the reasons why he unconsciously eats. As a result, it is easier to stop compulsive eating and properly manage weight. But it is essential to be aware of hypnotherapy treatments that provide substantial weight loss in one session. Insomnia. Individuals can also get rid of insomnia when opting for hypnotherapy. A hypnotherapist can create a personalized treatment program that identifies your sleeping patterns and teaches you self-management techniques, which can help you sleep properly. Pain management. Finally, individuals can also easily manage pain with the help of hypnotherapy treatments. Hypnosis techniques can be taught to you by your therapist to help you manage chronic pain as well as post-surgery pain. It has also been shown to reduce the post-operative recovery time on some surgical procedures. Other than that, hypnotherapy works well in particular with children who are undergoing chemotherapy. Definition of hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy is a form of psychological treatment used to create certain subconscious changes in a patient. These changes may be in the form of different new responses, thoughts, attitudes, feelings, or even behavioral changes. Hypnotherapy, as the name suggests, is done with help of hypnosis. So the person who is hypnotized displays unusual behavior, characteristics like heightened responsiveness, as compared to non-hypnotized people. One thing to be understood well is that hypnotherapy is performed and should only be performed by medically trained hypnotherapists. There are a lot of people who use hypnotherapy as a means to make people vulnerable. This is a major offense. The purpose of hypnotherapy, as mentioned by Dr. John Kappas, founder of the Hypnosis Motivation Institute, is simply inducing a state of hypnosis in a client or patient to increase or alter behavioral patterns. Let us now see how hypnotherapy has changed over the course of time. Traditional hypnotherapy. This was a form of hypnotherapy practiced majorly during the Victorian era. The method employed was mainly direct suggestions in order to remove symptoms by way of therapeutically relaxing the patient. There were also instances when a patient would be given aversion treatment, i.e., exposure to external stimuli like drugs or alcohol. It must be noted that for a time period when research had not advanced to such a high degree, any form of hypnotherapy was actually quite an achievement. The Times saw some renowned hypnotherapists like James Bray flourished. Ericksonian hypnotherapy. Named after Milton H. Erickson, this was a very different form of hypnosis, where Erickson made use of conversations to deal with patients. He would begin informal conversations laced with complex language patterns and therapeutic strategies. This was a very big divergence from traditional hypnotherapy and hence much criticized as well. Cognitive behavioral hypnotherapy. It is a form of integrated psychological treatment where hypnotherapists use clinical hypnosis and cognitive behavioral treatment, or CBT. The research on CBT being used in alliance with hypnotherapy has revealed greater treatment effectiveness. People reported about 70% greater improvement. The use of CBT hypnotherapy has become widespread and is also very helpful for behavioral analysis among people with tendencies, criminal or otherwise. So what really happens during hypnosis? Under hypnosis, the body is in a peaceful condition and the thoughts get more deeply focused. Comparable to other existing relaxation techniques and methods, hypnosis effectively reduces heart rates and blood pressures and alters particular kinds of brainwave activity. When one is in a very relaxed state, he or she is physically comfortable, yet fully awake mentally and thus reacts highly to suggestion. If an individual wants to quit smoking, for instance, the hypnotherapist employs recommendations to persuade that individual that he or she will hate the taste and smell of cigarettes very soon. Many people are more attentive to hypnotic suggestion in comparison to other people. The patients may use self-hypnosis, where they unwind and guide themselves through mental images that can actually make them stop smoking. Through practice, this can be perfected in a matter of time. A certified hypnotherapist also can aid an individual who wants to quit smoking. This could actually be achieved in one session or multiple sessions for people who have been smoking in greater quantities for longer periods of time. The patient can also make use of a combination of both. A patient would go to a session with a hypnotherapist and on their own practice self-hypnosis. Usage of hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy is used mainly to help treat or simply control conditions. Various forms of disorders like depression, anxiety, etc. are brought under control by way of hypnosis. In the Victorian times, there were large numbers of reports stating use of hypnotherapy to deal with hysteria. Modern usage is also found in order to treat any unnecessary fears, irrational thoughts, treating insomnia, sleeplessness, and also cure alcohol and other substance addictions. Hypnotherapy helps majorly in dealing with certain non-psychological conditions like post-operation procedures, cancer care, etc. An interesting fact is that hypnotherapy has been used for a long time during childbirth. It is used to prepare the woman for the childbirth and also in order to reduce anxiety or pain during labor. We often hear the term talking down. This is also a form of hypnotherapy, where a person is talked down to normalcy. We call it manipulation sometimes, but it is an effective form of hypnotherapy used in day-to-day life. Having understood the usages of hypnotherapy, let us now understand what makes hypnotherapy important. Benefits of hypnotherapy. 1. Hypnosis helps to treat addictions. It helps induce a state of calm in addicts so that they are able to control their urge to substance abuse. 2. Hypnosis helps in pain management. In case of disease like cancer, where the pain is often beyond imagination, plain medication does not help. Hypnotherapy helps strengthen the mind. This helps to deal with the pain. 3. Stress can be reduced. When people have a tendency to take unnecessary stress, very often meditation and yoga is not much help. It is a psychological issue. This is treated effectively with hypnotherapy. 4. Helps cure sleep disorders. Excessive sleep, insomnia, etc. can be cured pretty effectively with timely hypnotherapy. 5. It helps recover buried memories that could be causing the current problems. The The subconscious often hides very painful memories, and it becomes hard to recall them normally. Hypnotherapy helps recover such memories. 6. Hypnosis helps deal with anxiety and depression. Both these disorders play heavily on psychology. Thus, modern-day hypnotherapy is a major boon to society at large. Essential aid for cancer patients. There are often mixed reviews about hypnotherapy, oftentimes coming from the medical profession and other sources of healthcare. Hypnotherapy is always misunderstood and has not been publicized as a good treatment for cancer. The reason for this is the fact that hypnotherapy is still perceived by people based on the comical depictions of hypnosis on TV. In reality, hypnotherapy is beneficial in a lot of medical conditions. It can help people overcome phobias, quit smoking, and alleviate stress. Modern hypnotherapists are a far cry from the comic characters portrayed on television, and are people who are actually dedicated and serious in promoting an alternative way to heal psychologically, physically, and even spiritually. What then is the truth between hypnotherapy and cancer? Does it really work? For these past decades, many physicians who keep an open mind about alternative ways to treat patients have promoted that hypnotherapy can actually help cancer patients recover in many ways. Many cancer survivors who have tried hypnotherapy attest that this is what cured them. Nevertheless, actual studies have shown that not only does hypnotherapy cure per se the cancer patient, but actually enhances the quality of life of people battling cancer. How does hypnotherapy work for cancer patients? Hypnosis, sometimes called an altered state of consciousness, is a condition akin to that when people are about to sleep or are just in the act of waking up. During this condition that hypnotherapists induce, suggestions are given to the patient who will find its way into the latter's subconscious mind, without the interference of the conscious mind. The things that are being said are what counts, rather than the state the patient is in during hypnosis. Once a person joins a session of hypnotherapy, the patient can often induce self-hypnosis. Thus, when a need arises for hypnotherapy and the patient is unable to visit his or her hypnotherapist, then that patient can hypnotize oneself. For this reason, hypnotherapy may be considered a very affordable means of treatment. Reduction of side effects. The side effects of the conventional treatment of cancer, like chemotherapy, can be devastating. Fatigue, pain, vomiting, and nausea reoccur whenever the patient undergoes chemotherapy. Promoting a more serene state, hypnosis reduces the patient's anxiety of these effects, and more often than not, reduces the side effects of chemotherapy because of the enhanced well-being of the patient. A cancer victim's life is really stressful. Through hypnosis, the stress is greatly reduced, so a patient's reception of his or her medication becomes actually easier. Hypnotherapy has a calming effect and can overwhelmingly improve the life of a patient battling cancer. Because hypnosis alleviates the symptoms and side effects of cancer, caregivers and nurses find that this helps them too, because it is a lot easier to care for the patient. Hypnotherapy, a choice alternative for overcoming phobias. Phobias and anxiety can completely ruin a person's life. It can keep them from getting jobs, socializing, and truly thriving as a person should. Sadly, these disorders are becoming more common every day, especially social anxiety. Consider the fact that with all the smart devices people own, they can live almost completely behind a screen. That's just one factor that is contributing. Irrational and all-consuming, these phobias can in most cases be tempered or even completely eliminated through enrolling in hypnotherapy. There's been quite a bit of research over the last few years that have shown its success with fears and phobias. Gaining control. Sometimes the methods of direct suggestion to relieve phobias works, but when it doesn't, hypnotherapy is a great alternative. There are many techniques used, and often anxiety can be completely relieved. Desensitization via hypnotherapy is also helpful. the effective person learns to gain control internally and discover what triggers their fears. They will be led on a visualization of a scene in which they can give or receive suggestions to overcome the fear or anxiety. This is known as behavioral desensitization, where being exposed to the phobia helps them learn to deal with it, even if it must be done repeatedly. Low self-esteem. If low self-esteem plays a part in the addressed phobia, hypnotherapy can include what is called ego strengthening. These methods connect the mind and body and give the suffering individual relief in relation to their fears, as well as a feeling of self-control that they didn't have before. Age regression can also help, as it takes the individual to a time before the phobia reared its ugly head and allows them to discover why it occurred in the first place. The human mind holds every memory, so while it may seem impossible to go back that far, it can and does happen quite easily with the right guidance. Upon the success of dealing with the phobia in a state of hypnosis, that successful feeling can be anchored and used later whenever they begin to feel anxious again. Dental phobia. This is a specific type of phobia where patients have an extreme anxiety. Dental phobias are very common. Hypnotherapy allows the patient to relax and exit the crisis state so they can have the work done that is necessary to their health. This also goes for other medical situations such as surgeries, diseases, and other disorders. It's also proven effective for women who are going into labor and help them get through a difficult birthing process. Procedures such as MRI can use hypnotherapy methods as well, as being in a confined space is frightening for many. Claustrophobia is very common in this instance. This is one situation in which the methods of hypnosis have proven successful. The outlook for hypnotherapy. There's a lot of promise for those suffering from phobias when it comes to hypnotherapy. Oddly, these patients have shown a bit more success than others, considering whatever is causing the anxiety or phobia is directly related to one's mental state. So being put into that state of relaxation and feeling more in control is just what they need. Being in a controlled state and having the ability to explore the phobia's origin is very helpful to these patients. Anyone that has tried other methods to relieve anxiety and phobia and not had much success should consider hypnotherapy. Conquering these issues with a registered hypnotherapist could be the answer to finally living life anxiety-free. Of all the natural and holistic remedies that are surfacing, this is one that continues to get great reviews from those who have given it a go. Hypnotherapy facts and myths revealed. 1. Myth. Hypnotherapy makes one do humorous things while in front of a crowd, like barking like a puppy or meowing like a cat. Fact. Hypnotherapy isn't a mere stage show. Hypnotherapy, as applied by expert hypnotherapists, have been helping a large number of patients to get rid of their phobic disorders, tension, and mind-numbing health problems. 2. Myth. Hypnotherapy is a magical or mystical trance a hypnotist puts you into by swinging a timepiece in front of your face. Fact. Simply put, hypnotherapy is considered as concentrated relaxation. This lets people go into relaxation while focusing on an ideal outcome or a certain trouble. Whilst under hypnotherapy, a patient relaxes the body and mind, but going through the guard of his or her unconscious mind into the realm of the subconscious. 3. Myth. People who undergo hypnotherapy have no control over their thoughts, words, and actions. Fact. During hypnotherapy, people are totally in control as their conscious minds assesses, filter, and determine our inputs and thoughts. Meanwhile, their subconscious mind acts like a sponge. Hypnotherapy is targeted relaxation. In other words, hypnotherapy permits a person to relax while concentrating on a particular issue or preferred end result. It's not just soothing or dropping off to sleep. Hypnotherapy for anxiety. Anxiety is one of the byproducts of living in a hectic and demanding modern world, where we are constantly bombarded with a huge number of things to worry about. whether it is making sure that we are earning enough at work to support our family or handling a variety of offline and online social relationships. With many stress-inducing stimuli around us, it is no wonder that a large portion of the population suffers from anxiety, whether temporary or chronic. Thankfully, there are a number of therapies that have been developed to treat this condition and return things to normal, and one of them is hypnotherapy. Although there has not, as yet, been a thorough review of the effectiveness of hypnotherapy for anxiety, it is a practice that many doctors will recommend, and one that has a great deal of anecdotal evidence backing it up. Hypnotherapy for anxiety works by inducing a calm and peaceful state in the individual in question, which then allows them to access their innermost thoughts and beliefs. It is whilst in this hypnotized state that negative thought patterns causing anxiety can be identified and therefore rectified, leading to more positive behavior in everyday life. One of the main anxiety disorders that individuals find themselves suffering with is generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD, which is where worries often spiral out of control and become extreme on a consistent basis. People suffering from this debilitating condition can be overly concerned with everything from money and work to family and health. Those suffering from GAD find that their excessive worry severely affects their enjoyment of life, and are considered as having the disorder when these negative and stressful feelings last for longer than 6 months. Thankfully, hypnotherapy for anxiety is a potential solution for those with GAD. Another condition that hypnotherapy for anxiety can potentially help with is panic disorder, which is a condition that is characterized by feelings of sudden and overwhelming terror, sometimes resulting in panic attacks, which have many frightening physical symptoms such as shortness of breath, a rapid heartbeat, and dizziness. With both GAD and panic disorder, hypnotherapy presents a way of getting to the core of the issue that are causing these conditions, as well as identifying the thought patterns that trigger the intense feelings of stress and terror that are felt. This therapy can therefore not only deal with the cause of the issue, but help put in place mental coping methods when the individual is triggered. Last but not least, another condition that hypnotherapy for anxiety can be effective for is social anxiety disorder, which is characterized by extreme stress and discomfort when in social situations. This is an extremely widespread condition, and according to some studies is the third most common psychiatric disorder after alcoholism and depression. A common sign of someone who is suffering from social anxiety disorder is that they are afraid to be in the company of other people. They have a fear of interacting with other people, and finally are afraid of being judged by other people. Hypnotherapy can be an appropriate method to deal with many anxiety disorders, as it seeks to get to the root cause of the issue instead of just treating the symptoms, as well as helping individuals deal with past events or negative thought patterns that cause their condition. It can also help develop more efficient coping methods, which can greatly help in daily life. In addition to hypnosis, a treatment plan, including cognitive behavioral therapy and medication, may be recommended by the individual's doctor in order to address all concerns, including debilitating symptoms, negative behaviors, and root causes. It is therefore strongly recommended to seek your GP's help if any anxiety disorder is affecting your enjoyment of life. Hypnotherapy for depression can set you free. Are you going through a life crisis? Are you looking for a safe and permanent cure for depression? Hypnotherapy for depression just might be the answer you've been searching for. In this day and age, more and more people suffer from depression because of the many demands of modern life. Research shows that 75% of people naturally come out of depression in a matter of days or weeks. However, you may be part of the remaining 25% who are unable to function without medication. The good news is that there are now so many treatment options for people suffering from depression. Now that modern medicine has opened its door to hypnotherapy, especially in Western countries, so many people are turning to clinical hypnotherapists for their ailments. In Australia alone, private clinics are popping up everywhere, with the promise of helping patients overcome their health problems, including depression, anxiety, phobias, sleeping disorders, and problems with weight and smoking. What makes high-tech hypnotherapy so inviting is that it is totally safe and very personalized. Your privacy is top priority, while most treatments require patients to take medication or pills on a daily basis for the rest of their lives. Hypnotherapy erases that for good. The best part is that it uses modern hypnosis methods that are extremely effective. You see results instantly. Hypnotherapists find the root causes of your depression using the most effective, relaxing, and meditative hypnotherapy treatment methods. The best part about hypnotherapy for depression is you don't have to relive negative and painful experiences from your past during your hypnotherapy session. Expert hypnotherapists work with you in a soothing, calming environment to help you get rid of the anxieties and problems that are weighing you down. Once these mental barriers are destroyed, you will emerge a happier, healthier you. High-tech hypnotherapy can help you get rid of depression using groundbreaking hypnotherapy treatment methods that are proven to be extremely successful. Our expert hypnotherapists use meditative hypnotherapy techniques to teach you how to put the past, present, and future into their true perspective and help you overcome depression and move on with your life. The success rate of this alternative treatment is astounding. Hypnotherapy for tinnitus. Many people agree that this technique, having experienced it themselves, does work, but there will always be doctors and specialists that suggest it's too hard to believe and will mock it. In reality, there are specialists and medical researchers that are in fact looking at hypnotherapy as an improved remedy for a whole host of different medical conditions. If the mind can be retrained in the right way, then it can be educated to remain positive, which means it can help a patient's recovery or treatment. Medical researchers have now been convinced that the mind is a powerful instrument, and it can be trained to seek out and repair medical problems in the body. It's a common practice these days for psychiatrists and psychologists to use hypnotherapy to retrain the mind of their patients. Tinnitus. Can hypnotherapy help? Hypnotherapy can help with tinnitus, and it is a popular method we use now that can benefit the patient enormously. What are the noises that we as tinnitus sufferers experience? Well, many of the noises are nothing at all. The noises are described as phantom sounds, and in fact we hear nothing. An explanation offered is that the mind apparently perceives them as noises, but in fact they are not really happening. So how can we retrain the mind to blank these perceived noises? After a couple of hypnotherapy sessions, it can result in a significant improvement in what we are hearing. As many as 50 to 76% of sufferers report a better quality of life. Hypnotherapy almost certainly improves and reprograms the mind so that the noises are no longer heard by a tinnitus patient. Research shows that most patients reported the noises when all together, and others reported a significant improvement in their hearing. Escaping from the myth about hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy professionals are always up against it and are going to have a fight on their hands as the public's perception of hypnotherapy is that the subject is a joke and they believe what they read and see in the media. This leads to a lack of understanding and a willingness not to listen and make their own judgment. Sure, the comedy sketches we see on television of the hypnotist making people run around the stage and ridicule do make us laugh. So for this reason alone, hypnotherapy will never be taken seriously as a remedy we can turn to for help without removing this preconceived idea. What happens in a hypnosis session? In reality, the actual process are poles apart from what the media reports. The hypnotherapy specialist will seek to place a patient in a relaxed state of mind, and upon doing so will then move into choosing from 3 separate states. They are as follows: regression therapy, ego state therapy, suggestive therapy. After a couple of hypnotherapy sessions, there is usually a small change in what the patient can hear, and after a couple of sessions there will be a significant change, and a reduction in the noises heard. Raising one's self-consciousness and retraining the mind to concentrate positively is the main aim of hypnotherapy. Scientists have called this the alpha state, the art of mind over matter and blocking out the noises tinnitus sufferers experience, for example, whizzing, whirling, and buzzing. Training the mind to block out unwanted noises and then listing everything we hear and see in order of importance is significant in order to progress with the treatment. We should never take the brain for granted. We need to allow our minds to remain open and evaluate sounds and what we observe. If no underlying medical condition is responsible for tinnitus, then we can use hypnotherapy as a serious technique to block out the noises by the method of mind control. Hypnotherapy for tinnitus can give some sufferers temporary relief. Always have your tinnitus checked by medical specialists, as there may be an underlying health problem that needs to be addressed. Motivation, getting the drive back. Motivation is the key to positivity in our lives. If we were not motivated enough, we would just not have the will in us to go about our daily lives. It's motivation that helps us get through the most mundane things. Motivation for working harder, motivation to have a healthy relationship, motivation to earn more, motivation to have a happy family. And yet sometimes we find ourselves lacking in motivation. I think we have all had days when getting out of bed to get ready to go to work seemed like a Herculean task. Sometimes lack of motivation can really bring people down and hinder their efficiency and ability. This may lead to frustrations and further breakdown of communication between people. However, if you intercept this lack of motivation timely, you have help at hand. Go for hypnotherapy for motivation to get the zest in life back. Hypnotherapy is intrinsically related to the concept of motivation and can help you in every walk of life. From motivation in sports to business, from quitting smoking to losing weight, hypnotherapy for motivation could help you out. But here's the catch. You can think of successfully motivating yourself only once you have your goals identified. Identification of a goal is very necessary before you start motivating yourself. Motivation is all about helping you realize your true potential. Sometimes this potential gets thwarted by certain experiences in our lives. Hypnotherapy for motivation works towards removing those mental blockages by connecting with your subconscious. Hypnotherapy is based on the formula of autosuggestion, and it works on deeper levels than one can imagine. Hypnotherapy for motivation converses with your subconscious mind and urges it to alter self-perception and self-image. Unknown to us, our subconscious is largely responsible for the way we think and react. If we train it to think on a different line, no doubt the accompanying behavior will change too. It understands the true potential that lies within us and taps into it. Through gentle affirmations, such as "I can do it," it retrains your mind into believing that nothing is impossible. The underlying theory of hypnotherapy is based on motivation, and we need it in every walk of life. However, we need to have our goals clear in our minds for the hypnotherapy to be successful. Hypnotherapy for motivation lets you focus on the particular task at hand. However, if the task is undefined, hypnotherapy will be rendered ineffective. Hypnotherapy for motivation can seem to be too simple a solution for these problems. However, you will be surprised at their effectiveness. Once you started this journey of self-discovery, you will see the changes in a short time. Through altering self-perception and self-image, hypnotherapy gives you a whole new view of the world. From being a procrastinating person, you can go on to become a self-starter. So define your goals now and dive into the vast sea of your subconscious mind through hypnotherapy. The pearls you will find there will take care of every situation and possibility in life. Quit smoking. Hypnotherapy is the smartest way to quit smoking because it works, and it works for almost everybody. It has an incredible success rate, far more than with any other method. It is also simple, convenient, and pleasant. You will enjoy your relaxing sessions, and as a result, you will become a real non-smoker. You will never want to smoke again. Hypnotherapy is the most effective, absolutely safe, and drug-free solution to become a non-smoker. Hypnotherapy not only offers the most effective way to remove physical cravings and all the aspects of physical addiction to nicotine, it allows you to change your habits and enjoy life differently. It allows you to make strong psychological changes to completely remove any need to smoke. Hypnotherapy is a therapy performed in hypnosis. A hypnotherapist is a professional, usually trained in different therapies, who uses hypnosis as a tool which makes therapy very effective. Hypnotherapy is a powerful yet gentle method of dealing with problems that other approaches simply cannot shift. Hypnosis is a natural state. You probably have been in hypnosis many times without knowing it. Hypnosis is the original mind-body medicine. It has been in use forever. Every natural mind-body healing is based, more or less, on hypnosis. The essence of hypnosis is the intense concentration on the chosen object to the exclusion of everything else. In this state, the subconscious mind is open to therapy, and, with the help of skillful hypnotherapists, you can make lasting changes and become completely free from your addiction. You can say your final goodbyes to smoking. There are 3 important aspects to quitting smoking. To become a successful non-smoker, you need to 1. Beat a physical addiction to nicotine. 2. Overcome the habit of smoking, which you built over many years. 3. Resolve the psychological reasons for smoking. How can hypnotherapy help you beat a physical addiction to nicotine? When in a deep hypnotic state, you can simply access the subconscious mind and remove the addiction to nicotine on the body level. The mind and the body are strongly connected. In a hypnotic state, you simply access the part of the subconscious mind which steers the body. The subconscious mind asks the body to remove the addiction. The body starts to produce the natural happy hormones or whatever else it needs to produce to balance itself, and the nicotine is not needed. Once you remove the addiction, you cannot have the withdrawal symptoms or physical cravings. They just do not happen. The procedure takes a few minutes while you are in a deep trance. It may sound like a miracle, but our bodies are miracles. We are miracles too. We just use our recourses in hypnosis. How does it compare with other methods? The standard medical approach offers a nicotine replacement program, like patches and lozenges, or medication to decrease the addiction or physical pleasure from smoking. However, the medication may produce very dangerous side effects, and the use of products which contain nicotine to replace smoking seems a rather odd way to beat the addiction. How can you beat an addiction to nicotine by taking more nicotine? It is quite common that a new addiction is built. The habit of smoking is sometimes more difficult to overcome than physical addiction. How can it be overcome? When somebody smokes for many years, very often from early teens, the habit of smoking is deeply rooted, and it seems to be part of the person. There is this automatic reaching out for a cigarette with a cup of coffee, when having a drink, after a meal, chatting over the phone, or driving a car. It is possible to work out all the situations which lead to smoking and become very aware of yourself, watching yourself all the time and consciously stopping yourself. But it is also very difficult, especially when you have had a few drinks or you are in a stressful situation, to prevent the old habit from kicking in and suddenly you start smoking again. Why is it easier to beat the habit of smoking with hypnotherapy? It is much easier to overcome the habit of smoking in a hypnotic state because habits operate on the subconscious level. In most situations, this can be done in one session or even with a hypnosis CD. However, simple hypnosis may not prevent the formation of new unwanted habits, like overeating. A qualified clinical hypnotherapist would assist you to use your own resources to safely remove or replace the habit of smoking. The most difficult obstacle to overcome is the psychological addiction to smoking. The psychological addiction to smoking is hardly ever helped by the medical approach. The medical approach usually treats only the physical addiction. The psychological addiction is usually deeply rooted in the past, has reasons in insecurity, general anxiety, or very strong stress levels, just to name a few. Sometimes clients call cigarettes their only friends, and even their identity are connected with smoking. Hypnotherapy offers the best solutions for dissolving your psychological addiction to smoking. You can talk about your psychological addiction with a psychologist for a long time, but when you want to solve the problem, it is better to see an experienced and well-trained hypnotherapist. In deep trance, you will find and implement better ways to deal with stress than smoking. You will overcome the anxiety and security. You will change the subconscious connection between your personality and smoking. You will let go the past unhelpful beliefs and association of reward or relaxation with a cigarette. The psychological addiction to smoking is very personal. Every person is unique and different, yet it can be completely resolved in hypnotic state with the help of skillful hypnotherapists who uses personal approach, counseling, and psychotherapy performed in hypnosis. Hypnotic CD or magic hypnotherapy session with one-for-all approach will rarely resolve the psychological addiction. Hypnotherapy is empowering and enjoyable. It offers the joy of being a non-smoker. It motivates. It builds strong self-belief and confidence. Quitting smoking with hypnotherapy is not only successful, it is also pleasant. The level of relaxation that can be achieved during hypnosis is so high that it is not comparable to any other techniques. Clients enjoy the sessions very much. It makes hypnotherapy the smartest way to quit smoking. Self-empowerment. In the simplest of terms, hypnotherapy, or simply hypnosis, is the use of the power of the mind to treat you of an illness, a fear of something, a phobia, or some emotional condition. You can use it as well to modify certain behaviors, attitudes, as well as a wide range of conditions, such as anxiety, anger management, and personal developmental issues. One common reason why people make use of hypnotherapy is for self-empowerment. Hypnotherapy allows an individual to develop the mindset as well as personal skills for a better life, health, and overall well-being. If done at the right time, right place, and with the right process, hypnotherapy can do wonders to anybody's life. There is some sort of a negative perception when uninformed people hear the word hypnotherapy. They say it does not make any sense or even impractical, or they don't have time for it. What these people don't know is that hypnotherapy have been able to help millions of other people cope with a variety of problems, as well as develop mind skills like self-empowerment. Hypnotherapy is not that very difficult to do, but it is not that easy either. First of all, you should have an idea as to what hypnotherapy is. Hypnotherapy can be done in either of two ways. You can find a professional hypnotherapist and allow him to do hypnotherapy on you, or you can do hypnotherapy on yourself. This is referred to as self-hypnosis. Hypnotherapy is a learned skill. You can't just grab a book about it and proclaim you know everything about it after reading the book from page 1 to the last. Hypnotherapy is something you learn through practice and experience. If you are looking to hire a professional hypnotherapist, find someone whom you feel very comfortable with. It is best that you should personally know him. Hypnotherapy can be applied in a variety of ways. It can be in the form of a simple relaxation technique, or it can be a rigorous mental activity or physical healing. A lot of professionals, such as dentists and obstetricians, make use of it in treating their patients. Self-empowerment through hypnotherapy can be likened to a session of yoga. Hypnotherapy and yoga are totally different things, but they have almost identical goals, and that is to make a person better both emotionally and physically by harnessing the power of the mind. Yoga uses a lot of physical exercises, but mind work is a major aspect of such exercises. There are a lot of factors that determine whether hypnotherapy is going to be effective and successful. The subject or patient has to participate 100% during all the sessions. The environment around the session should be appropriate as well. Appropriate means calm, comfortable, and no distractions. When doing regular and continuous sessions, it is recommended that these sessions be done at the same time and venue every session as much as possible. This enables you to adapt into the process and makes it a lot easier to achieve positive and more immediate results. The history behind hypnotherapy. You could trace the historical past of hypnotherapy back as far as the healing practices that endured in the ancient Greece and Egypt, when most beliefs deemed a trance-like behavior as spiritual possession. The word hypnotherapy per se has its roots in the Greek word hypnos. The father of modern-day hypnotherapy is most certainly Austrian Dr. Frank Mesmer, whom in 1779 triggered a trance-like state he named mesmerism to treat nervous problems. Now we call this therapy hypnotherapy. Mesmer believed he could cure individuals without medical treatment using magnetic field forces. As a matter of point, the terms animal magnetism and mesmerism come from his practice. Many individuals don't believe he practiced hypnosis at all. In fact, the French government, led by Marie Antoinette, stated Mesmer a fraud. Another name connected with the historical past of hypnotherapy is James Braid, 1795 to 1860, a Scottish surgeon credited with coining the term hypnosis in 1843. Braid used a bright object, such as a pocket-sized watch, to put into a trance. James Esdale, 1808 to 1859, one other medical expert from Scotland, is known for employing hypnosis for anesthesia during surgical procedures. These individuals were among the earliest hypnotherapists to be taken seriously, legitimizing hypnosis as a practice. Sigmund Freud, 1856 to 1939, used hypnotherapy in his early practice. However, he eventually substituted hypnosis with free association and discussion therapies. Others followed Freud's lead, and hypnotherapy began to fall out of favor. In 2002, the Department for Education and Skills designed national occupational standards for hypnotherapy, joined to National Vocational Qualification based on National Qualifications Framework under the Qualifications and Curriculum Authority. And therefore hypnotherapy was accredited as a standalone therapy in UK. NCFE, a national awarding body, issues Level 4 National Vocational Qualification Diploma in hypnotherapy. The steps involved in hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy is not a haphazard process. It has its own methodology. There are a number of steps which are enlisted below. Identifying the illness or problem. Relaxation followed by engagement. The hypnotherapist uses various images or suggestions to engage the patient. Further relation, getting rid of all negative thoughts. Consciousness. The patient returns to a state of consciousness. Reflection. Once the patient has returned to his usual conscious state, he is asked to think about what he has gained or experienced in his trance-like state. Long-lasting effect. Hypnotherapy has a long-lasting effect. According to one of the studies, patients reaped the benefits for up to 7 years. Since hypnotherapy does not just treat patients, but psychologically enables them to overcome their problems, it is more long-lasting than orthodox methods of treatment. Orthodox methods only provide immediate relief, but hypnotherapy changes the psychological framework while providing relief. Things to take into consideration with hypnotherapy treatment. Hypnotherapy is widely used to treat ailments, as well as emotional and psychological problems. People who fail in weight loss diets and who are fighting addictions like smoking often turn to hypnosis as their last resort. However, not everybody feels comfortable at the thought of subjecting themselves to a hypnotherapy treatment, since there are many things to consider before undergoing this unique treatment. Hypnotherapy treatment has been tested and proven as effective in helping people deal with problems related to their health and personal lives. Hypnosis involves being under the guidance of a hypnotist, who works on the subconscious mind. During this treatment, you feel relaxed and your mind becomes more open to what your hypnotist dictates. If you're planning to undergo this kind of treatment, you may consider doing the following things. Look for competent hypnotists. As hypnotherapy becomes more popular, other people grab the chance of offering hypnosis, even though they are not equipped with the knowledge and skills necessary for this treatment to become successful. Beware of these people and look for competent hypnotists who know exactly what to do. They are those who are not just after your money, but truly understand and sympathize with you. In addition, they must be professionals with extensive background and experience on hypnotherapy and the medical field in general. Go for individualized therapy programs. No two individuals are exactly alike. Most hypnotists fail to realize this and simply offer a single therapy program, which they believe is applicable to all individuals. This is not true. Look for those who offer personalized hypnotherapy treatments, which are designed based on the patient's specific problem, background, and personality traits. Flexible treatments are your best choice. Consider accessibility and availability. You don't need to search far and wide since there are many health clinics and professionals who offer hypnotherapy. You can start by searching the yellow pages or even search online. Be practical by choosing one that is nearest you. Hypnotherapy works best if you are physically ready and well rested before the treatment. Availability is another major factor to consider. Choose hypnotists who are ready to offer their services on a daily basis. Canvass the cost. With so many hypnotherapy clinics out there, you can get lost in the many things they offer. However, one way to determine which is by knowing the cost of their treatments. Cheap services can be very tempting, but don't sacrifice quality and effectiveness. Make sure you still get your money's worth by undergoing treatments at a reasonable price from legit hypnotists with a proven track record. Consider where the sessions will take place. It is important to consider the exact location where the therapy will take place. Some patients prefer undergoing hypnosis within their own home, but hypnotherapy conducted in a more comfortable, peaceful, and clean surroundings promises faster and more effective results in just a few sessions. An area where you can relax and set free all your inhibitions is the most ideal for your treatment. Top benefits to lose weight. The universal truth is that a combination of healthy diet and exercise helps in losing weight. There is also one more truth. Once people shed some weight, they feel happy about it, and then they go back to their old eating and lazying around habits. As you know, habits die hard, and most people who lose weight gain it back on after a few months of slimming it out. For weight loss to be effective, it must be permanent. The person who loses weight must not go back to his old eating habits and must continue exercising. This is where hypnotherapy steps in to ensure that weight loss stays permanent and regular exercising and healthy eating become a habit. Using hypnotherapy to lose weight is a practice that can alter your conscious state. When you are under hypnosis, you go into a trance and obey the hypnotherapist's commands. You become extremely alert and more open to suggestions. If the hypnotherapist informs you of the dangers of putting on weight and tells you about the benefits of eating healthy and working out regularly, you will take him very seriously. You will listen to him just as you would listen to your doctor. There are many accredited hypnotherapy professionals that can administer this service and deliver satisfying results. However, the icing on the cake is that you don't always need a hypnotherapist to administer powerful suggestions. You can induce behavior changes by learning hypnosis and then practicing it on yourself. Top 4 benefits of using hypnotherapy for losing weight. 1. Hypnotherapy helps you acquire a whole new confident persona. You start becoming more aware of yourself and your surroundings. When you reach a heightened state of awareness, you start getting more involved. You start caring about yourself. The act of becoming self-aware and getting more conscious about yourself helps you understand the importance of losing weight. 2. Hypnotherapy relaxes you. Stress is omnipresent, in our fast-paced world, and nearly every human is impacted by it. When you are stressed out, you give a damn about your diet and end up eating the wrong stuff, and that too in plentiful. Hypnotherapy's ability to relax and make you self-aware helps you stay away from unhealthy eating habits. 3. Hypnotherapy changes the way you think. You go from an uncaring, negative, and cynical attitude to a sharing, positive, and ambivalent state of mind. You stop panicking about your weight and instead start planning on how to eliminate weight and lead a healthier lifestyle. 4. Hypnotherapy helps you create realistic and achievable, yet challenging goals. Hypnotherapy makes you listen and follow autosuggestions, and that makes you a more determined person. You will start setting realistic weight loss goals. For example, I will lose 1 kilogram in the next 15 days. And go after your goals with a vengeance. Hypnotherapy will make you a determined and focused goal-getter. This has been Hypnotherapy. Reduce stress, lose weight, and improve your life faster with hypnosis. Written by Quinn Spencer. Narrated by Eric Boozer. Copyright 2018 by Vincent Newt. Production copyright 2018 by Vincent Newt.